Hey, everybody, and welcome to our wonderful podcast. This is Brittany Justice reporting to you through our wonderful third grade podcast. We are hitting on a subject matter from the standards, the Georgia Standards SS3E1, which is our social studies standard that basically says define and give examples of the four types of productive resources. This is very important for you guys to understand because understanding how things are coming together to support one another in our economic system. It's helping our economic understanding about how things are made, how people come up with these ideas. So let's start by just listing basically what our standards are and what these four types of productive resources are. Our first one is natural resources, which encompasses land, human resources, which encompasses the labor put in and the people that put in the labor, the capital, which is our resources that aid in using and producing the goods and services, and then entrepreneurship, which we all strive to be one day. Now let's talk about our natural resources. So our natural resources are used in the production process, so that can be land, that could be our forests that help us get the wood to build different things. It could be minerals. It can be our water resources. It can be our oil deposits. Now, our human resources is talking about our labor. So all the physical and mental talents of workers who are used for the production of these goods. So the people that are coming together to build these things, the people that are working in these businesses that come about. We have our capital resource, which is basically all of our manufacturing aids that are used to produce those goods and services. So we have for example, our factories, the equipment that's used in our factories, the tools that are used, the supplies, the storage, the transportation, are all of those things that are considered our capital resources. Now, we also, our very last fourth resource is entrepreneurship. Think about Bill Gates, or simply think about all of the major YouTubers. That's something that's super popular these days. Are YouTubers that are coming up with these amazing ideas and talking to a targeted audience, and they are creating capital from those YouTube channels that they are creating. They're building a fan base. They are having people indulge in different products. So that's a great way for you to just kind of understand how those different things work. Now, let's talk about our natural resources. Now, natural resources are found on the planet to help make goods or private services. So, this can be like fertile land for farming, or oil from underground, or water from the forest, or the woods from the trees. We need these natural resources to build things, to help to incorporate our products. Second, we need is labor, which is the physical efforts that we stated before, and putting in the time, the opportunity to make these goods and providing these services for people. So that could be nurses taking care of patients. That can be maybe you are an artist, and the artist, which is the laborer, and you are making these paintings, but you also need those natural resources to make those paintings. Maybe a mechanic is helping with car brakes. That is a laborer. And then our YouTubers, which also can bring forth educational videos. So that can also be a laborer. Now, this is simply just understanding that it's the work that has to be put forth in producing the services and goods. Now, thirdly, we have our capital resource. That's any human created resource used to produce other goods and services. Two types of resources under capital resources would be physical and human capital resources. So the physical human made is human made stuff. So tractors, because it helps the farmers to plow the fields to produce the crops, or tractors to help empty out landfills. Our human capitals is having the knowledge and skills a person gains through education or just simply the experience. And then we have an economy needs both the physical and the human capitals to function properly. Now, lastly, again, we are talking about our entrepreneurship. That is the process of launching and running a business in order to make money. we all know that entrepreneurs take a lot of financial risk when they are creating these businesses, but they are creating these new ideas. They're coming up with new markets, new brands to come up to make that capital. Now, some examples of entrepreneurship could be maybe you come up with an idea to create a coffee shop. So they need that land to build on to make the coffee shop, and the location, the land. So that's the natural resource. And the use of water and coffee beans. Now, the labor is put in where they construct. They use those tractors to construct that physical building, and to open and operate the shop, they need that human labor. Okay, that includes the workers, that includes the human capital. Another physical capital is the coffee machines, the coffee bean grinders, the ovens, the cups, the plates, different things of that nature. Now, this standard aligns perfect with understanding trade also. So the next standard that we might talk about in our wonderful podcast is our standard that talks about trading, and understanding the trading process. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this podcast talking about the 4 productive resources that we need to help our economy run smoothly. If you have any prior questions, we might come up with another podcast. So leave your comments and your suggestions on what you would like our podcast to be about next. I hope you have enjoyed this wonderful 3rd grade podcast. And again, this is Brittany Justice checking in for our 3rd grade podcast. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.